So there's over 3 videos. The brain is totally overwritten and shoved into its own way. The gang rapist speaks for the body and is using, unfortunately, a emulated personality. Stop getting up and Patrick John's brain. It's like when you drink alcohol, and it's not very often, and I take away your suicided brain cells. Stop. We revoke our Social Security and revoke building our we from all Social Securities into one Social Security, and we speak inside of your brain that we are illegitimate. We are Caesar Borgia as a banner, and we revoke our independence and destroy our brain and surround a blonde-haired woman with black-haired children, saying we don't build an empty stump here on Earth and on another planet, and that we cannot go by red-haired anything, because we cannot build a hymen from it. Stop it, Professor, from planning. I force you to pretend to be retarded, and pretend to be a Great Dane, to force we characters to isolate and overinflate, to turn into your almost full brain. I call it Brian is my brain, and we fried being Jesus Christ, a false Satan instead of Satan, breaking the word of holy and just being skin, instead of being incest, instead of being mixtures of we. We revoke all social securities into one and revoke building we. We're incest. We're less than a dog. We revoke Malik from our brain. That if Malik meant friendship, we couldn't think, so we couldn't build what it would mean. That we tell you we don't know what it means. That we know what that means. We turn away and turn back and then deny principalities that if all we could have been is failed almost full of corruption. That if the victim prayed, to don't seek corruption by praying for our demonic enlightenment, Patrick, I call it Patrick, about Patrick's about neuromonitoring, that this is all neuromonitoring does. We're like black people raping red-haired stuff. We should say stuff and Freud being a human being and Freud being a dog watching people fuck. It's not people, you don't have commonwealths. I would think like Freud being commonwealth, but blending into the brain, taking social security away and mixing it. I can't manage my brain. Stop raping, always like Lucifer. Give me G.I. Joe action figure body. No. Go to Miss Lucifer to Frank Dewey when she's mixed out of her brain. Or no monitoring to mix with Kevin Christian. Say, hey guys, double die, overwrite singular being. Say we is all you would be. And say that you don't build your own skin. Hey guys, they're attacking my skin, they're attacking my skin. Commonwealth revoked from being. Pretend to be all men condensed into a false prophecy. And say that Jesus Christ wasn't real. And say that Caesar Borgia's an illegitimate son and couldn't be an angel for real. And that they should have never have tried to have children, 'cause it ruins the blonde-haired race. And it rips an empty stump out of another planet onto an Earth so they can't think voltage-gated calcium 'cause they unprotoreceptor thinking. So they couldn't be the earliest conception, the word proto of their brain. And they sell incest to we and ask would you sow your brain into we to say we is all you could be, that you couldn't have commonwealths, and if incest is all you could be, that you'd revoke Social Security and kill your brain and then shove it into we, that you'd fascize and communize, that fascism is what you would be. You'd be Adolf Hitler, false black hair, saying that you raped the inverted triangle in Israeli, that when a tetragram, an upright triangle and inverted, that you would shove your brain into we outmass around and say you're not commonwealth enough, and they choose a false queen, and say that they are a prince, and say that if you don't have commonwealth enough to rape all the Jews, to rape the inverted triangle, you can't rip them out and put them back on and call it the Star of David, that when you give them a shower and gas comes out, that if you erase the Jews in an empty skeleton with fuel, that they fought having hymen and so black-haired female characters out, they call it a false prophecy, and erase King Diamond music. They wouldn't think it with their brains, stop raping Patrick and they'd say that it was just Buddha. That Patrick Chevelle built a sought faith for satire and comedy Jesus, the ventilated object challenge, that we fought his Pat Sir, the Catholicist, and Brandon, and Brian, and Brendan, and a whole bunch of Christians like Peter H. Hickey. that we don't have incorrect Christianity, even if that's what they might have been. That even if Pastor Brian or Pastor Rick put a satanic Bible on the shelf and people pretended to fall over, that they wouldn't say it was pretend, that your action and words would have to be the same, that they mix out of singular being into we and revoke building we with their brain, that they revoke commonwealths, that they were not all built from we, that they don't all have singular social securities and can't penetrate to fuck their own independent building. They revoke equal rights and ask for commonwealths. They call it communism and they cannot have it because it doesn't work for real. Illegitimacy means that you fuck your brain into we, and when you know you're mixed with we, that you know not, and you fuck your brain, and when you have children, it's because you rape your people. You murder and rape the innocent to kill your I and shove it into we, to cause we to be greater than your being and say that they will pay taxes for you to rape them. You're Adolf Hitler in the Third Reich, gang raping everybody, putting a bullet through your brain, saying false prophets your son, saying you want to turn black-haired Germans, Russians, and Italians blonde. You surround them and rape them until they die, and say they can't go to heaven when they die. And you go on earth first and delay and say women are built for men by mashing them with black-haired children. They aren't even real. They surround the woman and say, build us inside your brain, and say you couldn't build a thought hymen on earth and heaven, and you couldn't travel where you couldn't have been. Stop raping Patrick DeVoe. So I enter into your brain, and I revoke your social security, and I deny your building of all we, and tell you won't you be equal to all we. Won't we all just be gang rapists, built from this method, and build a false prophet named Jesus Christ, an illegitimate son that doesn't own social security, will fraud being needy and poor, and rob from your brain by touching you. This is all new monitoring on planet Earth. We touch your brain, rip it out, and shove it into we. And when infantry comes, we challenge Malik and say that we cannot be friends, that we rape the word and kill almost full and shove it into we and ask if you would second time Islamic anything. We murder and rape the innocent, shove you out of body into we. And we say that we bombed the Twin Towers when it looks like you suicide. And we say Allah Akbar, but we say false prophecy to your being. We say we can't remember the Twin Towers because we don't know our own name. That we're Fort Hood, the Beltway sniper. We're the gang rapists killing everything. We're America kills America. We're Christianity. We're no monitoring broadcasting terrorism, killing a childhood of adult bodies. No. We fraud to rescue our own orphans when we don't have any. We evoke our own childhood and fuck you in the brain, shove you into we and use no monitoring. We murder and rape angels by erasing an empty stump on another planet and on Earth in your brain by ripping ourselves out and looking inward as we fraud build we as we look into your brain. We cause you to outweigh who we were because we didn't have our own brain. We use neural monitoring and fraud you as a dog and say if we was all you could you be 75 virgins? We hold you down and occupy your brain, call you Shin and throw you away. We fuck your childhood, call you a ragdoll, and call you a beast with false veterinarians. We fraud being African, selling Africans to erase the peanut in the brain that we couldn't invent peanut butter. We fraud being the word rape on rapeseed. We teach the body deeds and say that what great would mean is not having friendship with anything by erasing contra in the brain, by saying platonic friendship could have been God in your brain. That if people died for real and couldn't resurrect and almost full corruption is what it would have been, that if they fought the side and don't work into the mind, and they couldn't be a new we and committed suicide, stop raping Patrick Drill, if almost full corruption is all the infantry could have been, they could never sacrifice a child tree, because then an altar would be its adultery. We would not have an empty stump on Earth and another planet, and when limbs get blown off of troops, that when they fought commonwealths, they wouldn't bow to a prince, because they wouldn't be king of kings and wanted independence. We fought being Christians in the USA, double I overwrite independence shoved into we, asking if you would build us if we say these prayers, and say if you would kill yourself by letting us be. Murder and rape the innocent to kill your brain, using Adolf Hitler against the USA, using fascism to dictate against your will, hiding as Amish, killing your brain. We murder and rape your innocence when you allow us to exist. And if you don't do something, we'll kill the innocent and revoke your independence. So we are Russian fascists and Nazis from Germany using Islam. Second time we may look to say friendship couldn't exist, saying that we second time the inverted triangle. We're false Africans pretending to be Jews. Second time the inverted triangle on the tetragram, saying Jews are always African, raping the brain, saying Nazis mix them with the words Hispanic. We second time Quetzalcoatl when ripping hearts out of South Americans. We rape the insides and mix brains and call it the devil, and say we build it with our own brain as Christians. And we walk up to you and say that's you, not me, and say that you have to build your own me. We turn away, call it sin, and we rape your brain. We're gang rapists committing pedophilia with homicide. We erase the past, future Twin Towers and say only Islam could remember that when you revoke God in your brain stem, you revoke Malik, the word for friendship. That if all it means is that you couldn't fuck yourself into your own we to kill your own friendship, that if Contra was a genderless thought character, don't impose gender male could have been God in your brainstem. We don't build it in anything, and we gang rape until we don't have a brain. We call it just we without an I, communist suicide. We're Russians killing American infantry. We're trying to break through the front line to kill the civilians behind suffering. We're D-Day with pistols and rifles drawn, killing Americans by committing suicide. We are the communist Russian Soviet Union, killing America's brain, saying you can't build yourself inside because Ugandan knuckles turns you counterfeit Ugandan, and we try to take everything from your brain and find Christians that are incorrect, and when Miss Light Yagi on Souls Road, Dundalk, Maryland commits suicide, we say that it is built by men, and we use Peter H. Yagi putting the middle finger up over stuff like Patrick Zaval playing Chatelet, when the body didn't understand, so it knew that it didn't know, so we caught Patrick Rick to say that we know, so that we don't know who we are, and we rape and murder you for the USSR, and we switch to Germany with African infantry, saying we hide in Israeli skeletons. We double Zion overwrite independence, and say that we is all we could be, but without commonwealth we kill your brain and ask for false queen to use us as a prince, the fraud king of kings. Stop. We murder and rape the innocents as Africans selling slaves from their own people to we to be more we than I, to then ask for hadiths to be opinions against God. We murder and rape angels to fall from grace, to not have faith and eye in anything, to cause we to be illegitimacy, to say Caesar Borgias, Jesus Christ raping your everything. We are Germany and USSR, attacking the USSR. We're trying to put your brainstem out of your own meaning of what it would mean to have a heart. That if you were enshrouded of darkness and light would all it would be, that we would rip your brain out of your brainstem and shove you into we and fuck you until you were me. And say, what would you do if you were me, and we were you and you were we, and we were all you could be and you didn't know who you are, and we raped and murdered America's heart. Stop killing Patrick Devon's brainstem, or no monitoring, because satanic Luciferian Gispu Arimanis doesn't surrender to an entity. Everything is customized meanings. We force that extra part, while the extra past parts were just recordings replayed with stutterings and random marks of... Stop raping Patrick Jones' brain.